Round 6 had a bit of everything, a couple big upset wins, games that didn't quite live up to their potential, and a couple of the competition stars badly injured. There is just one game separating 3rd and 12th on the ladder, and this season looks to be continuing on the trend of being another extremely tight one. But just like last week's round review, we have to start with the round's conclusion. It was another classic to add to the Easter Monday rivalry between Geelong and Hawthorn. It had everything: more Bailey Smith antics, a huge roundhouse by Connor Nash to Brian Myers, and plenty of energy. The pressure in the game was there from the start, not necessarily all the time in a physical sense, but certainly in the minds of the players. Over 88,000 people attended the MCG, and it is the biggest crowd the fixture has ever had. In the end, it seemed like Geelong made less mistakes than Hawthorn and converted a few more of their forward half plays. The best depiction of this was the closing minutes. Josh Weddle's dangerous kick from fullback was picked off and led to Sean Manner's third goal to put Geelong up by 7. But even then, Hawthorn still had their shots. James Sicily kicked out in the full when a point would have been handy, and it capped off his horror day where his kicking lacked and his hands the same. Before that, Nick Watson won a high free kick and missed from directly in front and did run close to the man on the mark. Now Geelong blew some big chances too, but in the end they blew less than Hawthorn, and that's why they came out with the 4 points. Both sides still look sharp, and it would be a shock not to see both much later on in the season. 3 other teams also look strong in their upset wins. Melbourne are finally on the board. Simon Goodwin swung the selection axe, most notably dropping Bailey Fritsch and Jacob Van Rooyen. It paid off. The forward line was functional and fluid, and that was helped by the on-ball mix getting to work. Jack Viney looks to have found a new role as a tagger. He did a great job on Caleb Sarong, while peeling off him as well to gather 25 disposals and a goal. Keziah Pickett was the other and the standout player in the game. 5 goals and 24 disposals in a blistering display. Now not all is fixed at Melbourne, but clearly small changes in the past 2 weeks are resulting in better performances. And how about Richmond? 2 wins already, and both impressive. Now the Gold Coast Suns did dominate the inside 50s, they were plus 20 for the game, but like in a lot of matches this year, efficiency was the difference. It also helps to have Nick Vlastuin in defence, who was a complete game destroyer, and although his return was controversial, you can't argue with Noah Bolter's profound impact on the field. He monstered Ben King. The hoodoo for Richmond at Marvel is over after 11 games without a win. It's a bad loss for the Suns, but not a disaster. 4-1 on the season, and a lot of their game was still in check. Perhaps it was just an off night. And the final of the trio was Port Adelaide. Like in Gather Round, they did have to hold off their opponents until the end. Did they get some luck in that final term with Sydney kicking 5 goals 8? Sure, but they did their work early. Connor Rozier's move to half-back worked again, and even a James Jordan tag couldn't contain him, and Zach Butters has instantly returned to his best form. Quietly, the half-back trio of Rosie, Miles Bergman and Jace Burgoyne is emerging as one of the best in the AFL, not only stopping the opposition and intercepting, but rebounding with pace and serious kicking skills. And now leaves the home team and the Swans without an SCG win, and with the Suns and Giants in their next fortnight. But we move to 2 of the saddest stories of the year. Sam Draper in a contract year and in career best form will miss the rest of the season with an Achilles injury. It's a big blow in a number of ways. Now the injury did have nothing to do with some concerns around his lower leg at 3/4 time. Brad Scott confirmed this after the game, saying he had calf tightness in the opposite leg to the one that had the season-ending injury. At 26, Draper is entering his prime. In 2025, he put up a player rating of 13.8, by far his career best, and did seem overall more polished in his output. Coming out of contract, he will still get paid well, but it might make clubs chasing him reconsider their offers and actually might help Essendon re-sign him. For the team, it means Essendon are now down to their third string ruck in veteran Todd Goldstein. Nick Bryan sadly tore his ACL in round 5, and the 1-2 ruck punch were building nicely. Both are huge outs and come just as Essendon are gaining some momentum. Somehow, Sam Darcy avoided the dreaded ACL. It's a miracle. Those ACL tests are normally 80% accurate, but he isn't out of jail yet. He will still miss time with, quote, a significant knee injury with an impaction fracture at the front of his knee and associated ligament damage at the back of his knee. It's obviously not good, but his fate, unlike Draper's, is not over for 2025. Depending on how surgery goes, how bad the fracture or fractures are, and other variables, at best, he will be back around 2 months before finals. That in itself may be another miracle. At worst, he misses the season, but at least we'll have a full build-up into the 2026 campaign. It's a shame to see a rising superstar go down, and now leaves the Bulldogs pondering their tall setup forward of the ball. His diagnosis at least gives hope, and if the Bulldogs can conjure up enough wins, we might just see Darcy return when it counts the most. Maybe he should put a phone call in to Riley Thilthorpe, as the only silver lining in his absence is the opportunity to gain a few more kilos and return even stronger whenever that may be. A quick shout out to a couple of the round's big winners. It's now 5 on the trot for Collingwood and back-to-back wins over both seasons' grand finalists and not at the MCG. The Dacos brothers are flying once again, and there aren't many better starting 22s in the competition. We all know the challenge will be keeping everyone fit and managing the team, so in 4 months' time they are performing at the same level as they are now. It was not a pretty win for the Showtime Crows, but an important one. The Giants were without Jesse Hogan, who missed through general soreness, but they needed a scalp against a top team, and they got it. They were really in control for most of the game, and needed a win after a couple tough losses. But no team needs a win like North Melbourne. That was so disappointing. An 82-point loss on Good Friday, another heavy defeat on the fixture. There are so many directions to look at. Absolutely the Blues were great, George Hewitt is having a monster season, but losing clearance by 8 and inside 50s by 25 makes it impossible to win any games. The midfield is where all of North Melbourne's talent is, but they're giving no production on field, and our pressure will continue to mount. Luke Davis-Uniacke is getting paid top dollar, and he's yet to get 30 disposals in a game and has been poor. Captain Jai Simpkin keeps turning the ball over, especially with his one-step lazy kicks, and Harry Sheezel has lost confidence and is now getting handball happy. Alistair Clarkson said it himself post-game that the midfield is supposed to be the team's strength, and now they have struggled mightily in the past fortnight. The first 2 rounds showed so much promise, but it now looks like North Melbourne are back to square one.